Welcome, listeners, to this episode of the Podcasting League of Super Acquaintances. Here's your host, the incredible Meme Man, Memes, and your co-host, the mediocre Bionicle Boy.
Hey, you know I can hear you, right?
Together in collaboration with superheroes around the world, they are the Podcasting League of Super Acquaintances! What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Podcasting League of Super Acquaintances. I'm your host, the incredible Meme Man. And with me today is
the mediocre Bionicle Boy.
And today we have an extremely special guest, the fantastic Jay Hernandez.
Yo.
You may know
totally
him.
Sitting on brevity there.
You may know him from his amazing reviews, figure reviews on YouTube, or you may know him from the pictures he posts up on Instagram. So, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot at all. Actually, just enjoying this this wonderful holiday weekend right now. Seeing what we're getting off post Black Friday right now, which is good. Picked myself up a do-back on Entertainment Earth yesterday for $21.95, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great price for that. I wanted to get it, but wasn't able to. But you live and you learn.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, it is nice just to unwind a little bit and just relax, seeing that, that's pretty much what the holidays are for right now. And it's sweet seeing that, I was able to sit down and make a video today, which is sweet. And then getting, the opportunity to talk to you guys right now, which is awesome because I don't have to be up for anything.
For us, it's getting an opportunity to have you on here as a guest because I know I'm a massive fan of your videos, and Jacob, I'm pretty sure he's a massive fan.
Yeah,
he's
I'm a really big fan.
He's the one that asked me to get you on here.
All right, on.
All right, so Jacob, you want to start things off with the news?
So we don't really have a lot of news today, but as of yesterday, there was a picture that came out of the prototype Figma Uraraka for My Hero Academia. And it's just a little prototype, just normal gray plastic, nothing really special. But it does look really good, and I'm nice to see that Figma is continuing the My Hero Academia line after the reissue of Izuku Midoriya and Bakugo coming out in mid-December.
Nice. I don't really have too much of an opinion because I'm not a big Figma fan. And I'm also not that big of a My Hero Academia fan, so...
I don't... Both. I wish I could get into the animes of today. I think it's probably just... Well, no, if anything, it's bullshit for me just to say that it's my age, because it's not my age. Like, I know folks in their mid-30s and their late 30s, even in their 40s right now, who still really dig on these new animes. And for some reason, like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a lack of time. I don't know if it's just my general disinterest or anything like that. But I would say that, like, since, like, I don't know, like, back in the heyday, like, when I was, like, in junior high, high school, and college, like, there was, like, at least in my view, there was, like, the big ones. Like, there was, like, Ninja Scroll, Trigun Planet Gunsmoke, Cowboy Bebop, like all that stuff. And I don't know, I guess I'm just like, I'm so stuck in my ways that I refuse to watch new shit. I have no idea if I'm just closed-minded or if I'm just an asshole. I don't know.
I have a question real quick. As you of an older audience watching anime, have you ever heard of the anime, what is it? Here we go. Saki Shinobashi. Has that ever rung a bell to you? No, it's never rung a bell?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, is there an English translation for this?
I think it was like the English translation was like found on 4chan for "Go for a Punch." I have no clue. I think that's what it was.
No, I'd actually never heard of it. What was the premise behind it?
It's just like this. I just heard about it today, and it's like this OVA from the from the early '90s, late '80s, about it's like horror basically. So like these high school girls get trapped in a bathroom, and then over time they just end up killing themselves. And it was just, I'm into that like horror stuff, so that's why
that actually sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does. It does. And just,
I would totally watch that.
Over like the past week, it's blown up so much. And I'm just like, I want to find this. I really want to find it.
Is it on torrents?
No one's been able to find it on like normal websites or anything. And people were saying that it was banned from the US actually, so I have no clue.
Oh wow.
All right, on. I should probably check Kick-Ass or something like that. Yeah, that actually sounds not half bad. Like what I want to say that even like the last freaking anime movie that I saw, I mean, hell, like this one was like, I saw it like back in July, and this is something that was, I want to say like somewhere like mid 90s. It was Perfect Blue. Have y'all ever seen that one?
I love Perfect Blue so much.
Oh my God, man. It was so good. It was so freaking good.
It was. I found it on YouTube, even though it was part 1 and 2, or it was cut up in half. And that movie was just amazing, along with the music, the aesthetics, and I loved it.
Yeah, I found it. I found that particular anime. I was writing and performing a solo show about this dude named Ricardo Lopez, who is otherwise known as the Bjork Stalker. If you are familiar with the singer from Iceland. But just doing research on him, I landed on Perfect Blue, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I popped that on, and it had to have been probably one of the great, that freaking movie was Black Swan before it was even Black Swan. You know, this was like Aronofsky before his freaking heyday. So I would imagine that he had to have watched that. Because there was just so many freaking influences on that particular anime. I mean, of course, like on Black Swan, it was freaking awesome. Have y'all ever seen Black Swan?
Oh, my parents have. I have not.
I haven't.
Oh man, watch that shit. It's so good, so good.
It has that chick from Hunger Games, right? I'm blanking on her name.
It's got Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis.
Oh, so I was off totally.
Yeah, so Padme. Padme and Jackie from that 70s show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else in the news, Jacob, or is it just that's it?
Just like we talked about last week, the Snyder Cut. Wait, no, was it last? It was last week. I don't know. We reported 2 things last week. But
oh my God! Let's talk about that. So y'all talked about that last week. What did y'all have to say about it?
We were just talking about it, how all the stars of Justice League were tweeting it out, even though most of them don't even want to continue their DC EU performances. And I was just on Instagram today looking for news, and I'm seeing new pictures of the Snyder Cut be released with they're not in black and white, they're edited with color, and it looks better than the actual Justice League release.
And what was it pictures of Steppenwolf? What was it?
It was a picture of Superman confronting Steppenwolf.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I did run into that. Do you all want to see it? Because I know that I don't.
I definitely do not. Because
I mean, I had my own reservations even about watching Justice League regular. I mean, I had friends of mine actually ditch me in watching it because they knew that I was just going to shit on it the entire time. And of course, like my feelings were like, they were hurt for a little bit, but then I realized, I probably was going to dog on the movie for all 2 hours and 45 minutes of it. So the thing is that what is driving people to watch this thing? Because it's already 2:45 anyway. So what it is that they're going to do is what? Are they just going to get rid of all of the funny shit and then just insert like half rendered CG or slow motion or or anything that friggin' Zack Snyder's known for? Because nothing sounds appealing to me in that at all. So there has to be some, at least for me, like some sort of weird conspiracy theory that there's some kind of ploy to get this, to get just the hype up with Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot putting out their feelers for this. Because I would imagine that the rights somehow got sold to some offshoot of Stars or Encore or HBO,
Cinemax,
and it's just going to be available there.
They also have the streaming service, which I hope it goes straight onto there and doesn't get a theatrical release, because that means that only the people that really, really, really want to see it will see it on the DC app or whatever.
No, they're going to get the 7-day free trial and delete it after.
And you got to wonder, like, even like with DC's streaming app, how long is that actually going to last? Like, how good is Doom Patrol really?
It's lasted for, I think, just under a year. It launched earlier this year, if I'm correct. But from what I hear, was it last year? Okay, well,
I think so, because there's already a season 2 of Titans, and they're working on season 3.
Oh, well, maybe it was last year, but either way, I haven't heard great things about it. So, I don't know. And they already had the Swamp Thing show canceled accidentally.
Canceled, yeah. Swamp Thing lasted. Did that even last the entire season?
It canceled after its first episode. Yeah, I don't even think the first episode aired, and they said it was canceled.
Wow. That's sad.
Yeah, that does suck. Because I did hear that it was canceled. I just didn't know like after which episode it was canceled. But then just to hear that it was canceled after the first or second episode, it's got to be really fucking bad. What? So I take it, like, was it like following some kind of Monster of the Week theme or something? Or because I mean, who would the villain be? I mean, the only villain who I remembered in Swamp Thing was Anton Arcane.
I have no clue. I've never even watched an episode, but I heard people say that Swamp Thing was good, and then it got canceled, and then everyone was like, "This is the first good DC thing," and it immediately gets canceled.
It gets canceled.
So, I don't know. But yeah, the Snyder Cut. I hope it gets released so people can stop saying "release the Snyder Cut."
Release the Snyder Cut. Just stop with that hashtag.
And all the celebrities that are gonna get paid from it get paid and shut up.
Oh yeah, because they'll definitely. I mean, of course, like, you know, they will.
That's why they're campaigning so hard.
That. Yeah. So I'm seeing that Ben Affleck's second bout of rehab isn't going to pay for itself. Come on.
Oh man.
And he's got to get that back tattoo removed. Have you seen his back tattoo?
I thought, was that real?
Yeah, that's real. It's a massive phoenix that takes up his entire back.
And it's done badly. Like, it's done so badly. And you would think like somebody like Ben Affleck would have the skrill. I mean, hell, it's like even I have tattoos that are fucking better than that, and I got most of mine in Philly, for crying out loud. So one would when I saw that tattoo, I was like, motherfuckers, like, that's got to be fake. Like, that is totally got to be fake. And just to find out that it's actually, I want to pull it up right now. Let me see. Ben Affleck tattoo. Let me see this here. Oh my God, that is so bad.
It's so bad.
It is because the thing is, like, it doesn't. Of course, it looks like a bird.
It's meant to be a phoenix, because I don't know. I guess maybe he got it because of his first round of rehab. He's a phoenix.
Yeah, because it looks like a phoenix peacock hybrid. It's what it looks like. But yeah, man, like that. I remember seeing this thing, and I was like, "Mother," it's like that's got to be fake. But no, it's real. Damn, man.
It's real, and it's real bad.
And it sucks because, like, personally though, like Ben Affleck, for as crappy as Batman v Superman was, that warehouse scene was outstanding.
Yeah, where he beats up.
That was some good cinema right there.
That's my favorite part of that entire movie.
So, of course, like, it just goes to show something as good as Swamp Thing getting canceled before it even starts, and Ben Affleck being the first member of the Justice League to leave, seeing that he was actually really good. I mean, because it's got to say a whole lot for a franchise if you can't even get behind their flagship character, if you can't get behind Superman, a dude who stands for truth, justice, and the American way, and you really just don't care about him. Like, Zack Snyder made him out to be like this self-important twat, and it was really disappointing. And I was actually in denial. I saw it first with my girlfriend at the time, and she hated it. And I said, well, you just don't understand, okay? Because you didn't grow up with this. You're not a comic book fan. But really, I was in denial the whole time. And then I saw it with my father. And leaving the theater with my father, he was like, oh, I don't know about that. That wasn't Superman. I don't know what that was. And when I got it from him, I was like, yeah, maybe. I think you're right, Dad. This wasn't great. I mean, because, of course, like my father, I can't remember because I was way too freaking young. But then, of course, in subsequent viewings, watching Superman 2, like that was the penultimate. That's like Superman. That was like the Superman right there. Christopher Reeve's Superman. Like the dude just like oozed charisma, but at the same time, he was just so non-threatening. And there was just something that I don't know that just couldn't be captured since. And of course, like you had Superman Returns.
Yeah, that guy he returned to Superman in the Arrowverse.
Yeah, freaking Brandon Routh playing that, and it was. I thought he was great, but he just didn't have the writing or really just the production to support him at all. And I thought he was a fantastic Superman. But who was it? It was freaking the dude from X-Men. The hell is his name? I can't even remember it now. But yeah, like he turned Superman into this horrible stalker in that movie. And yeah, that was actually pretty disappointing as well.
I'm pretty sure there's just a curse on DC, because no matter what they try to do, it always ends up badly in the end.
Except for the Joker.
Well, it could be good, but they're making sequel. They're making one sequel, I think. I hope it's just one and not turning it into a big franchise. But they're making a sequel to that movie, and I think it's just perfect and fine the way it is as one movie.
Well, like the word
my thing is that we talked about this with. Oh,
they want to do a sequel of it. Is from what it is that I heard, they want to do a sequel of it, but not necessarily a sequel with Joker. What it is that they want to do, from what it is that I'm understanding and what it is that I read, is that they want to do an origin sequel. That they want to do like a Lex movie next or something. Oh. Which actually is like doesn't sound like half bad to me. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see this.
Yeah, but Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix are already working on a Joker sequel, and I cannot think of why they would continue this, even after Todd Phillips himself, the director of the movie, the director/writer of the movie, said that this was supposed to be a standalone thing. But now he's just making a sequel, and it's most likely because Warner Brothers was just like, here's a massive amount of money, a dump truck full of money, now make another movie.
You know, when I was talking with a friend of mine, and we were talking about Joker, and I like Joker for what it was. I mean, really, it's like, as far as like Joaquin like surpassed the material, seeing that there wasn't much material to begin with. But it was good. But the one thing, like, if they were to continue like any type of like Joker franchise or a sequel or whatever, have you all ever read Brian Azzarello's Joker? It's just basically, it's this one-off graphic novel just called Joker. And all it is just a day in the life of the Joker. Like, there's no Batman, there's nobody. It's just the Joker, like, all day long, just doing Joker shit. And it's incredibly compelling. And when I read this, I was like, holy shit! I was like, this is your movie, like, right here. Like, I like what it is that they did with the origin story, seeing that we never really seen anything like that. So I had thought, it's like, okay, so now that this is out of the way, this is the Joker story that you want to tell right here. Had y'all ever heard of it?
I haven't even heard of it, and it's surprising with all of the Joker talk going on, and for the past month now, that I've never even heard of that run.
Oh yeah, this was back in, like, oh man, this was like 10 years ago that this came out. Like, I'm super selective with what it is that I read these days, seeing that, number one, like, I don't have all the cash in the world to buy my monthlies anymore. And then number two, like, I just don't have the time to read everything that I want to read. However, if something, comes out, just like a nice trade, I will pick that up, and if time permits, then yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. And Joker was one of those ones that I just picked up on a whim, and I loved it. And it sucks because after 2008, I was so freaking pro Azzarello. And did you all get to see the DC animated Killing Joke?
No.
Yes, I saw that.
That thing sucked so bad.
Yeah.
And it was horrible because it was Brian Azzarello who ruined it, because he totally, I mean, as far as just like the subplot that they put in with Batgirl, which was totally not needed, and which was a total insult to injury right there to Barbara Gordon. He was responsible for that. I was like, well, it's like, I guess lightning can't hit the same place twice at all with that. But if you do have the time, check that trade out. It's actually really sweet.
I'll definitely try and find it. That would be really good for a sequel to Joker. The only thing is, DC has been trying to set up a connected universe for... When did Man of Steel come out? At least...
Oh man, that was like 2012, 2013.
Okay,
something.
Ever since then, they've been trying to create what Marvel has right now.
Well, no, Superman Returns and Dark Knight, they were trying to connect that together.
They were?
Yeah. Remember in I Am Legend, when Will Smith is walking through New York?
Yes, I remember that.
Yep.
God. They've been trying to do this for a long time, and they failed for every time now. And I really hope that they don't try and connect this Joker to... Because one of the things that I didn't really like about Joker is, even though it is a Joker movie, you could have replaced the title with anything else and taken out the murder scene of Bruce's parents, and it would have just been a movie that's about this guy that just goes insane. And that would have been completely fine. So, trying to connect it into this bigger universe and make Joker the starting point, it just doesn't make sense. And DC and Warner Brothers need to get new management.
I agree with.
I mean, yeah, this is something that's been going on, for a while. I mean, these guys have been putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, I mean, since Man of Steel, and of course, like they got wind, when Iron Man and Hulk first came out, and I remember like Iron Man first coming out. That was the year The Dark Knight came out. And that was such a great summer. Like I went and I watched I had to have watched Dark Knight like 2 times, but if you can't believe it, I went back to the theater and I watched Iron Man 4 times. And it's just one of those things to where it's like, yeah, it's like DC and Warner Brothers could smell that Marvel was up to something huge. And they bit off a lot more than they could freaking chew. And they did themselves absolutely no favors by picking a guy like Zack Snyder, who had been known for a fairly lukewarm Watchmen and a movie like Sucker Punch, which I could not get behind at all. Like the soundtrack was pretty dope, and who else was in that? Freaking and if y'all ever seen Sucker Punch?
I've heard of it now.
So.
I think when Sucker Punch came out, I was like 5 or 6.
It's like what that was. It had Poe Dameron in it before Poe Dameron was even Poe Dameron.
Oh wow!
And like, who else was in that? Let's see. If y'all had seen Sin City, Carlo Gugino was in that. Despite a pretty good cast, the dude who played Stick in Daredevil was in that movie as well. And yeah, that movie was not good. So they got a guy like Zack Snyder
who
to head up.
Essentially knockoff Christopher Nolan.
I mean, yeah, he definitely is just like the poor man's Chris Nolan. Yeah, I mean, because if anything, there's definitely an artistry to what it is that Chris Nolan has done ever since he started in with Memento, which was a fantastic movie. Yeah. The Prestige, just like you look at anything that he has done outside of Batman, dollars to donuts, his shit is going to be bulletproof. Like his stuff is usually really freaking good. Whereas you see the canon of Zack Snyder. And of course with the aforementioned movies that I have named off, specifically a lukewarm Watchmen and Sucker Punch, a movie that is entirely forgettable, a movie that not a whole lot of people talk about anymore at all. I mean, I just brought it up now, and
yeah,
you guys kind of answered my question for me. Which was, Sucker Punch. I don't know, that I've never seen them. That movie came out when I was 5. So you look at how incredibly out of touch somebody like Zack Snyder is for, a universe that you want to breathe a new life into, something that has a type of vibrance. And it sucks because like when you're looking at some of DC and like some of their animated fare, and if that is actually surpassing what it is that you are putting up on the big screen, you got problems.
Yeah. Because
I remember like when DC first came out with their animated shit, like when they were coming out with Green Lantern First Flight, when they were coming out with Final Frontier, which was awesome, like or even their Wonder Woman. Now that was great too.
I feel that.
What's up?
No, I'm just saying. I feel that what Cartoon Network puts out, the Lego Justice League stuff is better than the actual Justice League movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like,
So
I'd go into Target and I'd pick Lego Justice League over the Justice League that came out, and that's just me.
Oh no, I think that's mostly everybody, right there. I mean, the only reason why they have a hashtag for release a Snyder Cut is because their minority is very vocal. Like it is like that minority that wants to watch this are incredibly vocal. Like because for those of us who enjoy Marvel's movies, like in no way are we saying, we want to see an even freaking longer Endgame. And of course, I am exaggerating here because, Endgame's, like, the Russo brothers didn't leave halfway through filming the picture. And they didn't have to because it was a good movie. Like, all of their shit was good. But at the same time, like, even for Marvel's, like, biggest freaking stinkers, like, we're talking about, like, possibly, like, Thor 2, or perhaps even, like, what? I don't even know. Like
Iron Man 3.
No, Iron Man 3 is good. I like Iron Man 3.
I think I like half of Iron Man 3. Like, still, like, I like it
like
for the most part. I think a good portion of it is, like, the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so good.
Yeah, the soundtrack's really good. But if you watch Iron Man 3 sort of out of the context of the comics, it makes it a lot better.
I have no idea what people's problem is with Iron Man 2. I actually really like Iron Man 2.
I love Iron Man. I think it's the best one.
It's like it's got Whiplash. It's got Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer, dude. It's like that guy makes that movie.
The introduction of War Machine in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that end fight is like that's probably one of the better. Of course, that final fight in Iron Man 2 started the trend of a bunch of faceless robots fighting the main characters. But that was really good for the time.
My favorite line in that entire movie is, "I'm gonna get him with the ex-wife." And then it just doesn't work.
I love that. I call this the ex-wife. That was so good. These are the Primos, baby. These are the Macanudos right here.
And just, like, looking back on that movie, like, right now, it's the technology that Justin Hammer gave Rhodey is not comparable of what Tony Stark made himself. Like, all War Machine has is some guns. Iron Man had lasers pop out of his fists, and it's just a one-time use. He destroyed, like, half of the robots, or not even all the robots with that.
But one thing in Star Wars Solo, it was the directors, Lord and Miller, who are from 21 Jump Street and also Into the Spider-Verse. And
I love Jump Street.
Yeah. They make really good movies. And I was really excited for their take on Star Wars because they're really good directors. And then halfway through production, almost all the way through production, because Solo was pushed back on release, they got cut out and Ron Howard was brought on board to finish, aka reshoot almost the entire movie. And not that many people were saying, I would rather see Lord and Miller's cut of Solo. And I don't know, it's what you're saying is true, that the DC fans are a very, very, very vocal minority.
I've never even seen Solo, wow. If you can believe it. I've kind of steered clear of it.
It's not my favorite movie.
I thought it was
it's not
pretty good.
Terrible. I just rewatched it, and it's not terrible. I used to think it was really bad, but it's not completely terrible.
See, That's what I keep hearing. And the thing is, like, my time is, like, I don't want to say it's really valuable these days, but I don't want to waste my time watching a not terrible movie.
Yeah.
Because like the thing, and not only that, I'll sit down with my girlfriend and watch something, and she'll get pissed at me. Like if we watch something that's pure shit, like she will get pissed at me. Like for instance, like we saw Joker just like last week. She didn't care for it like at all. Me, like I thought, like okay, I'm not gonna say Joker wasn't like, oh, it's not terrible. No, I like Joker. Granted, there were a few things that I didn't like, but I could see why somebody like my girlfriend would be pissed after watching that. However, getting back to Solo, I can only watch so many things. So before I watch something, like I need to make sure that it's, for lack of a better word, good. And when I hear Solo, it's not that bad, which means it's bad.
Yeah. It needs to be something that's going to be worth your time. Which I completely understand. That's part of the reason that I don't watch a lot of movies that people recommend to me, because I either hear they're meh to really bad.
Yeah.
Movies that were recommended
I have steered clear.
How I found your channel, actually, Jay, was watching the Mayfix review of Alex the Large.
Oh,
Clockwork Orange.
That's a classic one right there.
Yeah, and like right after I saw your review, I went straight to a bootleg site and watched Clockwork Orange.
For the first time?
Yes, for the first time.
Wow. Oh, man. What did you think?
I loved that movie so much.
Let me ask you, Jacob, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I loved it when I was 17, too. It's like now, like I watch and I'm like, oh, it's like, what the hell was I thinking, man? It's like, this is still a good movie, but damn, dude, this is kind of fucked up a little bit.
Yeah, it's... Kubrick is really good at making creepy, fucked up movies enjoyable.
Yeah.
Of course, like, I was like too much of a dipshit when I was 17 to realize that, of course, like Anthony Burgess was commenting on society as a whole, in which we do nothing but feed our youth trash and keep feeding them trash and congratulating them for eating trash. Of course, like me and like my feeble brain, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Alex DeLarge, ultra violence, Morocco Plus. This is so awesome. And now, like, I'm like, oh my God, man, I totally just missed the point. Like, I missed the point entirely on that movie. But I'm glad that you liked it. And hopefully you like it. Not for the reasons why I liked it when I was 17 and thinking that Alex DeLarge was this freaking awesome anti-hero.
No.
Yeah.
No, like, I liked it for the for just the acting in general, and his start as a criminal, his descent into what he wanted to call religion when he was just acting. I don't know how to elaborate on it, but I just like his character development all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for me, like I watch it now, I'm like, man, it's like this shit is deep. Like this shit is just deep. And yeah, I'll just think about like what it is that I used to think about Clockwork Orange. Not necessarily like idolizing, ultra violence or anything like that, but just as far as just like the iconography of it, and just being taken by the imagery. I mean, hell, dude, like for like a couple of years in a row, like I think I dressed up as Alex for Halloween for crying out loud. But yeah, like since I've gotten older, of course, like I have been able to just appreciate it in an entirely different way. and it's so funny that like you bring up the Alex DeLarge like figure from Mayfix or even Mezco or what have you, and just finding like content creators like making videos on these figures, but saying it's like, oh yeah, and I've never seen the movie before.
Oh.
It's like you really, you really should watch, like, if this
you
was
should
like
at least understand the original source material that this figure is from.
Yeah, just do a little bit of research. Go to a little Wikipedia. Read it. Read the paragraph. Just read the paragraph real quick.
And that's the thing. Is like, where it's like it's not as forgivable as, say, if like they were going over something like Booster Gold or Blue Beetle and saying it's like, I don't really get into DC. It's like, no, dude. It's like you really should watch this movie before you actually start talking about this figure here, because yeah, you're kind of talking about a murdering rapist here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that just astounded me. Like so many fucking facepalms were had that summer, and like watching folks, just talk about Alex and not knowing a single freaking thing about him. And that is just, and that is just, it's irresponsible. I mean, it really is.
And then, like what you did with your video, you took the time and effort to get the song. You did the little intro they had. You had Alex propped up on those Spider-Mans, and it was just, oh my god, it's like the movie.
Yeah, like, and I even did like the little dancing Jesus montage.
It's like this person knows the source material.
It's like you took the time to watch the movie.
Yeah. And like that, and that, of course, that was just me showing off my geekery and whatnot. I was like, okay, it's like, because I had been waiting for an Alex DeLarge figure for a really long time.
You said that in your video that you wanted Movie Maniacs to make it, but they never got around to it.
No, and of course, like that always like made like our wish list. Like all of us, like of course, like everyone back then, we all wanted a Pennywise, and now like you can't walk, you can't walk freaking quarter mile without hitting a Pennywise, whether it be a classic or a new freaking Pennywise.
A Skarsgård or a Curry?
What's up?
The Bill Skarsgård or the Curry version?
Oh, both, man. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it was back then, like in the early millennium, everybody wanted the Curry Pennywise, because there was something to where like Stephen King had held up the rights, as well as the production company who was in charge of the film It. So licensing was really messed up. So something had to have happened within these last dozen years or so, because we finally got that Curry Pennywise, and of course now I don't want one anymore. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it was Pennywise, and then of course everybody wanted an Alex DeLarge figure, and of course like that's another one to where it's like it was something of its time, and of course like not a whole lot of people like want it anymore, but of course I still did. So of course I picked that one up, and I picked up the Mezco as well.
All right. Well, that was Release the Snyder Cut.
Dude, I'm sorry, guys.
No. It's completely fine. That's completely fine.
It's like that, which is the reason why, like, I usually, like, even like with my own videos, like I don't script. I kind of just talk, and then I cut after.
Yeah. So no more news, Jacob?
We can do a little movie review.
Movie review on what?
The Irishman.
Oh shit, how was that? I haven't seen it yet.
Watched it.
I saw it. The 3-hour movie on Netflix that was
3.5 hour.
Yeah,
that's mainly why I haven't seen it.
With the unforgettable dynamic duo of Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. People are saying that it's boring, but they just like they don't understand like mobster movies. And it has its moments of, is this movie almost over? But it's got its moments of, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. That's pretty cool. And it's not going to be like...
Is it like what? Is it like Lord of the Rings Part 3 where it has like 20 different endings or something? Or
No, the
like
ending is like
you think it's gonna end, but it's just not gonna end?
no, the ending is just like not satisfying,
Ah,
and it's
wow.
just like it's a mob movie. It's kind of like Goodfellas.
Yeah, for a Scorsese picture, that's actually fairly status quo right there. Like
Mhm.
if you watch something, even like Raging Bull, or of course Goodfellas and of course Casino, yeah, they kind of just they leave you with that feeling, to where like you don't feel either good or bad, just all right, I guess life just goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So let me ask you though. So are you a Scorsese fan?
Um, I've seen Goodfellas too many times to remember.
Oh,
I've
same
seen
man.
Casino
I
like
have that
once or
entire
twice.
movie memorized inside and out.
Me too, trust me. Um, I've seen Casino a couple times. I haven't seen Raging Bull, but
Oh, dude, get on that. Get on that. It's so good. Yeah. Like there are days when I know that like I'll have like a day off or something and I'll be sitting in front of my computer. Like there are two movies that I will just watch clips on YouTube. Number one is Glengarry Glen Ross, and number two is Raging Bull. and I'll just I'll just go back and forth and just watch clips of those two movies. Raging Bull, man, check that. Like if you're a Scorsese fan, and if you dig, of course, on Goodfellas and Casino, like watching like a young De Niro and a young Pesci just go at it, it's some good shit.
I'll definitely check it out.
Mm.
Because I love both of those guys. They're both hilarious. They're both really good actors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in this one, I mean, hell, dude, it's like you get to see De Niro transform himself. Like he was doing Christian Bale shit before Christian Bale was doing Christian Bale shit. Like he was like starting out the film, like just like super freaking slender. And then by the end of the film, you see that De Niro has gained like 30 to 40 pounds, Like he was like what, of course, like besides somebody like Marlon Brando, who brought like method acting like onto like just into the forefront there. But yeah, I got to watch that movie. So you would say that it's worth it watching it for those 3.5 hours.
Definitely.
Cool. Sounds good.
well, now I gotta watch it.
Yeah, it's just like it has its moments. It really does, but it's a good movie. It's worth the time. It's there. It's just there.
Is it true cinema?
I. It's true cinema.
True cinema,
All right.
as opposed to fake ass Marvel cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite cinema, right there. And it's oh my god, it really does suck, dude. I mean, and of course, like I loved that who was it? I think it wasn't was it the Rousseaus or I can't remember who it was, but it was a rebuttal towards Scorsese saying that, look, man, you don't own cinema. And it is totally true, man. I mean, because the original thesis that Scorsese had come out with was these are just amusement parks. These are just roller coaster movies here. And I was like, dude, it's like, do you know what the fuck you've made? Like in the past, it's like you've glamorized the mafia. You have made the teacup ride for douchebags. Is what it is. For someone, I mean, because for someone who actually who will appreciate a good screenplay, someone who will appreciate like that entire freaking long take of going into the restaurant in Goodfellas, that one continuous take, someone who can appreciate that, someone who can appreciate character development. Yeah, like a fucking film geek can sit back and really enjoy that. But to some dude in the Midwest or to some dude in the South or to some dude in Jersey, who idolizes, the way that Joe Pesci is a fucking sociopath and decides just like to take that route in life to be the asshole. Yeah, man. It's like, if anything, I really think that Scorsese just like he has no room to criticize on what it is that anyone's doing, really, because even in this 1 minute here, like, I've been able to pick apart what it is that he's done, as can, anybody else, really. And it's the same thing that he's doing with these Marvel movies here. And it's, what it is that the Russo, I can't remember which freaking brother said it, of just saying, like, look, man, you don't own cinema, but hey, your opinion is your opinion, and our movie made a bajillion fucking dollars. So there we go. And there is something, I think there is something to be said, that there is some sour grapes that are there. And of course, I do think that he probably is feeling fairly sensitive, seeing that, of course, he is pulling off something incredibly huge with The Irishman here. And he knows that he is going up against a whole lot of freaking superhero movies. Like, he is going up against Endgame. He's going up against Joker right now. So I would imagine that there are some raw feelings there. But then again, that just could be me.
He's basically the Stinky Pete of this world, whereas the Russo brothers is Buzz Lightyear. Space toys overcoming.
That's actually a really good
analogy. That's a very good analogy. All right, so that was The Irishman.
Yeah. We didn't really do a review on it. I talked about my feelings.
Yeah, you talked about it, and then
now we're all going to watch it again.
Yeah. So now we're going to move into a little bit of an interview of sorts, because you are one of our favorite reviewers on YouTube. So I'd like to start off with, how did you come up with your style of review?
I will say that it did take a lot of trial and error. Because, like, at first, when I made my channel, like, I didn't really have any type of voice at all, and I'm in no way, shape, or form am I saying that I do now. But all I can say was that when I first started out, nobody was watching. So of course, like, it took some scrutiny on my part, and then I just kind of just delved deep back into my feelings on how it is that I feel when I watch other people's stuff. And there's this line in Dark Knight that who is it? Eric Roberts says this line. I can't remember which frickin' gangster he plays, but he says something along the lines to this woman at a bar, just saying, "What makes you think I want to hear you talk?" And I was like, yeah, that's actually kind of right. It's like, because there's sometimes to where, like, I'll watch somebody else's stuff and I'll turn the volume down, and I kind of just want to look at the toy. So I was like, you know what? It's like, let's put some music in the background. Let's try that. Let's just see how that goes. And I did that for, like, the first time. And of course, nobody liked it. Like, nobody liked it. They were like, "What are you doing?
Such a departure from
what is this stupid music that you're playing? Just talk about the figure." I was like, I don't really want to talk about it anymore, because I can only listen to my voice so much, and it actually saves me a lot of editing time and scripting. Not talking about this. I just want to show you what this thing can do rather than talk about it. Because number one, like, I'm not particularly interested. And then number two, you're not, like, for any, and this goes for any and all. And of course, like, there are toy content makers who have that personality, who have that charisma. Robo, for instance, is wonderful. It's like, I think people tune in more to watch Robo than they do to even just talk about toys. People just like Robo. Robo's a great guy, as well as somebody like Dan Larson. You know, like you watch like those two guys, like, yeah, it's like those guys have a certain charisma, you know, and they have that ability to keep you entertained, and they keep you wanting more. Some people have it, some people don't. And early on, I realized I am one of those people who do not have that. So let's play to our strengths. Let's practice a little bit of posing. Let's find some dope ass music and let's put it together. And of course, like I said at first, nobody liked it. Well, no, I lie. A small portion of people liked it. But I just kept at it, you know, I just kept at it and just kept trying out new things. And yeah, and it's to the point to where, you know, I have a small but mighty following now. And folks seem to be digging on what it is that I'm putting down. So yeah, really it all stemmed from really just letting the figure do the talking. Because there's so many, dude. Like there's so many videos. Like there's so many videos on YouTube. There's so many freaking content makers on YouTube. And you got like, and these days, like you have to do something, you know. There's this musical called Gypsy. And there's this one song which is entitled Get Yourself a Gimmick. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying that my shit is gimmicky. Well, it kind of is. But but when you ask anyone, you know, who is in the toy community and saying it's like, oh yeah, do you know Jay Hernandez's videos? Like, oh yeah, let's pose this, John. There you go. You know, or, you know, like let's, you know, fucking do something. I have no idea. The walk or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's like just these little blips and these little phrases that you can just leave with right there, like some type of signpost that you know that you're watching my stuff. Like for instance, like you'll see like the Matrix background, because before that I was using this poster board with stars, which at the time I can confidently say that nobody was using that, but I decided to use that.
I use that sometimes.
And people were like, that's too busy. Like, we want to see the figure. I was like, well, no, it's like, because if you see the stars, you know that's my video. And then all of a sudden, a lot more folks on YouTube started using it. I was like, well, fuck that. I don't want to use the stars anymore. I said, well, what the hell can I use? Because, like, Robo uses blue, Toy Bro uses orange, freaking MCU Collector uses yellow. So, like, everyone has, like, their signature color. I was like, well, what the hell can I use? I was like, so going back into my trickery and my love for nostalgia, I was like, holy shit, dude, freaking Matrix, use that. So I went out and I had it just blown up, put in the background. I was like, there we go. And of course, people hated it when I first used it. But now, whenever I post on Facebook, whenever I post on Reddit, whenever I post on Instagram, you know that it's my shit. Because it's like, boom, like the freaking Matrix is right there. So my credo, when it comes to just getting back to your question on style, whatever everyone else is doing, I'm not going to do that.
That's a good way to put it, because your reviews are they're so completely different from any other reviewer I've seen.
Although, have you gotten into? There's this new content creator on the scene. Well, it's two dudes. They're called Articulated Show, and I've been trying to get those guys blown up for like the past like 2 or 3 weeks or so. If you have the time, like their videos are incredibly short, like anywhere between 7 minutes. If you have time, watch their stuff. It's actually really cool.
I'm looking them up on YouTube right now, and I can't even Articulated Show.
Articulated Show. Let's see.
I can't even find them on YouTube.
Yup. They're pretty down there. Of course, seeing that, you know, if you have a show called like Articulated, it's going to be difficult to find. I'll DM you on Instagram with their link, because like their stuff is different. Like it's so freaking different. It's incredibly clean. It's like it's the one adjective that I can give it. It's very Vox like is what it is. And if there's one thing that I love in my content, like I love originality. Like I love that, which is like why, like I hooked onto Dan Larson when he first came out in the scene. Although it sucks because he doesn't really go over toys anymore unless he's in the photo booth. Like he doesn't necessarily do, for lack of a better word, reviews anymore. Like the 4 minutes or less spiel that he used to do. Those are great. And of course, like Dan is entertaining enough. And of course, with what it is that he's able to do with Greg in putting together a sweet video that only lasts 4 minutes, like there was absolutely no touching that whatsoever. But yeah, just getting back to the question. Yeah, basically, I try to do stuff that not a whole lot of other people are doing. Like I'll try to take a risk here and there, whether it be with music, whether it be with scenery, whether it be with the figures that I take a look at. Like I just try to, of course, have fun with it. Number 2, let the figure do the talking. And then number 3, hope people like it. So, yeah.
So you started 2 years ago? Am I right on that? 2 years ago?
Yep. 2 years ago I started, yeah.
And now in 2 years, do you have any clue how many subscribers you've gained in just this year alone?
Yeah, actually, it's like I think like this is like no BS right here. Probably this year alone, I think it's probably been somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 around there.
So, what was it like to just gain this pretty relatively big size of an audience in such a relatively short amount of time?
I gotta admit, like it was pretty sweet. Because number 1, sorry, I always go numerically, just so I can get my thoughts straight. Like there were things that I purposefully did in order to get viewership, and of course, number 1, that was to skew the format. Just to put a wrench in the system and say, look, I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do with this particular video. I'm just going to do something else. But the way that I was able to hook people in was, of course, and it sucks, dude. It freaking sucks that as a content creator, sometimes you have to do this, especially if you're new. You have to get stuff first, or you have to get stuff second, or somewhere around there, or else sometimes no one's going to watch your stuff. And it sucks because that is, when it comes to just the content game, if you're not Shartimus Prime, if you're not Robo, if you're not, whoever, if you're not a bigger name, more often than not, you are not going to get the views that you are want to have. So, like, of course, like getting like the Kingpin wave first, or getting like the White Ranger, like one of the first people who like picked up the Power Rangers White Ranger, or say like, like getting like Hercules from overseas before, anybody else got it. That helped, and it sucks because it's a shitty way. It's a really shitty way to get people to watch your stuff by just getting a shiny new toy. It's to the point now to where like I don't necessarily have to do that anymore. Like now, like, and of course, like I'm not trying to like blow up my own head by saying that, but like my format and just my carefree style of going over shit, people just like to watch that now. Like I can like probably go over like The Mandalorian next week, even though like, like a whole bunch of freaking toy content creators have already gone over it. I can go ahead and do something on that this week. And more often than not, folks will watch. But yeah, like when it comes to getting like that many folks like into my stuff, I will say that it is awesome, and it does, and it feels great. And the one thing that I hope, is that, and of course, like this is getting back to, getting shit like first or second or whatever, is that I hope that, with what it is that I am making, that I can get more away from that, and that folks are legitimately just liking my stuff. And that's really like the goal, right now, to where it's like, look, it's like, it doesn't even really matter what Jay's going over. We just like to watch his videos. That's it. So getting like that number of folks like watching my stuff, of course, it is incredibly exciting. Like it is so freaking exciting. And I always just, and I try to like make the best content, the best material that I can, of course, with the time that I have. So yeah, I was just like an around the world and back answer to that question right now. How did it feel? It felt very exciting to get that many folks just watching my stuff. So yeah, and I'm hoping that continues. Even like after the new year, we'll see where all this COPPA stuff goes here. And if it does indeed go somewhere, well, there's always Instagram, there's always Facebook, things like that.
You could do just like what Robo's doing and post your stuff on Vimeo.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you actually have to pay for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you're only allowed like I think like 500 megs, like 500 megs like per week, and that's it. Like other than that, like you have to like pay anywhere between like $12 to $20 a month for storage there. And for me, like I like making content, but not enough to pay to play.
Yeah.
Post it on Fiverr.
It's like I'll put my stuff up on Instagram, of course, because like it doesn't cost anything to put anything on Instagram. But like for Vimeo, I'm like, I don't know about that, man. Like maybe like if I had, something else like supplementing, or if I was like actually like sponsored by someone, which I probably would not want to do, because that would actually make me liable in having to make stuff. Then that's when it actually becomes work and not fun anymore. But yeah, like having to pay for it, I'm like, no, I don't know about that.
So, Jacob, you have any questions?
Give me 1 second. I had it written down.
It's okay. We'll wait.
Here, I got one. I got one to fill in the time. This comes from my friend Kendall. How the hell are you so good at balancing Spidey?
Oh man, it's like that. I will tell you this. So I started balancing when I gave up smoking close to 4 years ago. Like I had like that Black Costume Spider-Man, and I had Juggernaut, and I had seen people like balancing like Spider-Man like on just like a flat surface. And I was like, it would be so funny if I actually just balanced it on his head. And I showed my friends on Slack, and they were like, oh, that's funny. Do Venom next. And so after that, like it started to become an addiction. And I wasn't very good at it at first. So really and I was going to therapy at the time as well, because of course, like when you quit smoking, a lot of other feelings start to come out, which is great. Hey, don't smoke. So, all of this anxiety, all of this horrible, just like aggression, that I was just feeling at the time, I was able to just channel it into just doing something with my hands. And it was something that was just mindless enough to where it somewhat balanced me out. And there was this weird sort of mindfulness to it. So at first, of course, I wasn't very good at it. But what it was that this balancing taught me, like it actually taught me to breathe, if that makes any sense. Of course, folks are saying. It's like, well, I'm breathing right now. Well, no, but I mean, like, just like being able just to sit down with yourself, not thinking about anything, and just giving yourself just like this one task that you have to do, not getting pissed off about it, but just doing this one thing. And that's how it started out for me. So whenever anyone asks me, like how do you do this, or how did you get so good at it? Well, really, like, it's just really, number one, it's just patience is what it is. And then number two is just practice. But of course, patience is the first hurdle right there. So for me, like it has actually like just like this whole like balancing thing has calmed me down. And of course, like I don't really talk about that on my videos at all, because it sounds like really weird new world shit. And of course, like I get enough flack on Instagram for other stuff that I post, so I don't need, the flack that I get on Instagram on YouTube as well. So yeah, I mean, really, it's like that's kind of what it is for me. Like it's me practicing mindfulness. So that's actually like how I got like really good at it, to where, like it taught me how to breathe, and really like it's all about just like, for me, just like turning my mind off and just doing just like this one simple task. And for me, it just seems to be balancing Spider-Man on top of another action figure's head. As crazy and as loony as that freaking sounds.
I used to do almost exactly that, and that's one of the things that really drew me into your videos, was the balancing. But I used to pose Spider-Man. One of the no, that's not true. I was about to say one of the first pictures I ever took. But I remember taking a picture of, I had just gotten, I think it was either the Scarlet Spider. I balanced him on one hand, like doing a one-handed handstand, whatever. And I was just like so like proud of it, and it took me like 20 minutes, because back then I really was not that great of a poser. And I just fell in love with doing these insane poses. And a couple years ago, I was super into Kamen Rider, and I would do a bunch of just insane poses with there was one Kamen Rider Agito, and I never set that figure down for at least a year, because it was just so poseable, and I could get that figure to stand on one hand. And there was one time where I got him to stand on his toe hinge. And
oh, nice.
So
that's some freaking D-Amazing shit right there.
Yeah, it is. D-Amazing is one of my greatest, if not my greatest influence when it comes to my toy photography. So.
Oh yeah, he's a huge influence on my posing as well. Like my toy photography is shit, but when it comes to posing, I'm like, oh yeah, man, that's fun. Let's do that. And I usually take my cues off of him. Seeing that there's this wonderful, like, there's a fun to it, but at the same time there is this athleticism to his poses as well, which is awesome. Some really good stuff that's coming from that guy.
All right, Jacob. Did you find your questions?
Yeah, like you kind of took it, because I was gonna ask him about his posing, because it's phenomenal. But like, you post on your Instagram story about like haters that comment. Like, how do you, like, what do you do to like deal with them? Just leave them there? I know you reply to their comments like you're funny like that.
Oh yeah, man. Because here's the thing. with that. I mean, because of course, like Wade Merrick from Unparalleled Universe, he's like, don't let him get to you. Like that's his advice, and it is good advice. Usually for him, he'll usually just ignore them. Whereas me, like I want to let things go, but I just can't let things go. Like for some reason, like it's this horrible toxic masculinity in me, you know, that just goads me on, and like I'm stuck in a corner and I have to say something, because for some reason, like you know, like in my head, I'm like, this will not stand, man. This aggression. So you know, I'll usually just, you know, I'll comment right back. But the thing is that what these idiots don't understand, it's like, dude, do you have any idea what it is that you're doing right now? You are making my revenue go up, is what it is that you are doing. Because number one, you just clicked on my link right now, which means that you are watching a portion of my advertising, or you are adding on to the minutes of my total elapsed watch count. So that's what it is that they're doing. And then two, they're commenting as well, which in turn is going to make my stuff even that much more visible right there. So that's the one thing that folks with horrible critiques, folks that are just straight up assholes, don't seem to understand, is that with you coming in and for lack of a better word, hating on my stuff, you're making me that much more visible. And usually, like for me, like if I comment back, it's in hopes that they will click on my link again. So it's basically just like it's this horrible vicious cycle that I'm trying to put this hateration on right there, to where it's like, oh, you're gonna come and you're gonna okay, let's see if we can keep this going right now, so I can get some type of ad revenue trifecta. Okay, let me make my quota this month. All right, guys, you're freaking buying my next Spider-Man figure right now. So yeah, that's pretty much how that works. So of course, there is something for me, you know, at least like with the way that my brain is wired, with my chemistry, you know, for some reason, like I can't leave it alone. You know, I can't do the Zen thing like Unparalleled Universe and say, you know, I'm just going to ignore you. It's like, no, I am going to say something. And not only that, I'm actually going to post it on Instagram as well. I am going to scarlet letter your ass on Instagram so everybody will know. And of course, like, and I have other content creators like messaging me and saying, it's like, oh man, it's like, I know that dipshit too. You know, they comment on my stuff, you know, they'll harass me on Instagram. You have folks, it takes a special kind of jerk off to want to take down, just want to take the guy who makes the toy videos down a notch. Like, it really does. Like, it's like, dude, it's like, do you have anything better to do than to talk shit on a toy video? like it really does take a special kind of asshole to do that. So yeah, when it comes to just answering that question, it's like that's kind of just how I look at it. To where it's like, look, it's like, if you're gonna come on and, you know, and just talk shit on my channel, just keep in mind that you are adding to my visibility when you do that.
Awesome. That's best answer I've ever heard about dealing with haters. So yeah. What do you think about the new Tesla Cybertruck?
Oh man, that thing! I mean, that, you know what that thing looks like? It looks like a DeLorean truck.
Yeah.
Is exactly what it looks like. You know, like for some reason, like we are finally starting to embrace the future, as it were. And it's funny, like, for better or worse, you know, when I look at the design of this new truck, you know, there is something that, of course, is very Jetsons about it, but then again, there is something that's incredibly Mad Max about it as well. There's something that's very Thunderdome about that truck. But I would love a freaking 12 scale, 12 scale model of that thing. Oh man, it's so cool.
Yeah, that was just my question. What do you think about the truck?
All right, so with that, we're gonna move into a little bit heavier, not even really heavy, but so YouTube, the current state of YouTube is everyone's freaking out because of Kappa, aka Kappa feel of these nuts.
It doesn't matter when anyone, like, D's nuts always be funny. Like, it will always be funny. Like, it cannot not be funny to me.
I was drinking water when you said that. I almost it came out of my nose. Oh my god.
So we've kind of gone over this in 2 previous episodes, but YouTube's currently trying to kill its own platform yet again. But this time it's pretty serious. So basically what they're doing is they're making it so anything that appeals to children is pretty much unmonetizable. And the reason for that is because they were taking data from children that were using the website and for what's it called, the ads. And so now if your video appeals to children, you have to either mark it for children, or YouTube, if they deem it for children, will mark it for children. Specifically for children under the age of 13. Because that's what it says in their terms of service. So, being an action figure reviewer, what is your take? I know you've said on the YouTube, I'm not sure, the community tab, whatever it's called. You've put out a little statement saying you don't really care, but not everyone can see that, and not everyone sees it because YouTube inherently has a really bad algorithm. So why don't you sort of expand on your thoughts on Kappa?
I mean, really, what it all comes down to here is that by no means do I think any of this means anything right now. Because there's so many freaking ifs and there's so many hypotheticals. There's a lot of really, just for lack of a better word, just bad language here. You know, anything that is specifically made for kids or is deemed attractive to kids. And with that, you know, there is something that's just incredibly messy about this entire situation, because anything really can be attractive to children. And when it comes to just easy pickings, you know, whether it be toy videos, whether it be, you know, anything as far as like haul videos, unboxings, anything like that. You know, if there is something with the word toy in it, of course, like, it's going to be flagged, and content creators run the risk of a $42,000 fine, something like that. And for me, seeing that there's a lot of time now to January 1st, even to December 10, to where, you know, they are still hearing what it is that we, the community, are saying about this entire thing. And I do have a feeling and this is an incredibly small modicum of my being, I do have a feeling that something will happen. Something has to happen, because this is just, it's too, for lack of a better word, it's too Sith-like. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Okay? You can't have 4 kids and not 4 kids. Like, what the hell happens to everything in between?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, there was a video that I made to where, like, I said, look, my little niece loves makeup tutorials. My nephew loves watching, dinosaur cartoons. Or he likes watching stuff on the Discovery Channel about dinosaurs. Are we going to say that this is intended for children here? So there is, like I said, a lot of bad language in this, and a lot of stuff that is just blanketed, a lot of stuff that is overly generalized, overly simplified in saying that something is either for children or not for children. So of course, like now, like I'm still making videos. Of course, like I'm still going to make videos until I can't make videos. Until YouTube forcefully says we cannot allow you to make more videos, that is when I will stop making videos. But before then, it's business as usual, because I do stand by the fact with my format, with what it is that I have done, with what it is that I have built over these last 2 years, I will say that my stuff isn't specifically for kids. If kids watch, cool, I guess. Granted, my videos aren't for you. Like usually, like my videos, and of course, I think a good portion of toy content creators, their videos as well. Like these things that we're making, they are love songs to the 80s. They are love songs to the 90s. These things are brim full of nostalgia, which a child under 13 probably will not get unless you're Pixel Dan and you're going over the grocery gang, which is somewhat, I won't say unforgivable, but dude, you're kind of digging your own grave right there, man. So, you have something like that. So what it is that like I am just looking forward to is some type of clarification in where it is that we are going with this whole COPPA fiasco here. Because like I said, you can't divvy things up between two. There is that general audience option, which is not being given, as any type of reasonable substitute here. Either it's for kids or it's not for kids. And it's just no way to go about business at all. So I am hoping for the best. I am preparing for the worst, but I am hoping for the best in all of this, because I think for those of us who do have something original to say, for those of us who do put out quality product and quality content on YouTube, I am going to miss seeing all of that. I mean, hell, I miss seeing Robo every week on YouTube. And I won't lie, like I haven't seen any of his stuff on Vimeo yet. And of course, Vimeo is free. But like I am used to just having all of my content in one place. Like I'm able to watch Wade Merrick on YouTube. I'm able to watch frickin' Robo on YouTube. I'm able to watch Toy Bro still on YouTube. Like those are like my 3 there. And of course, The Amazing, that goes without saying. So I always like watching all 4 of those dudes just on the same platform. And now that like shit is starting to get split up, of course, like I know where it is that folks are going, because it's my job as a content creator to know where these guys are going. And it's on me. It is my stubbornness to give up, because I'm not going to give up just yet on what it is that that we as a toy community are doing here. For those of us who are sticking it out so far, on YouTube. So yeah, those are kind of just my feelings on the situation right now. it is crappy. Like, I'm not gonna lie about it. Like, it is super freaking crappy. And as I did state in my COPPA video, that yes, you know, we as content creators, we were complicit in, to a certain extent. Content creators were complicit in what it is that YouTube was doing, because of course, you know, there are a huge number of provisos that that we need to jump through in order to even make content for YouTube. And of course, one of those things was data mining on minors, which, you know, if we had known about it, you know, it may have gone a different way, but, you know, we didn't know about it. We just, you know, we just make content. That's what it is that we do. And every time that, you know, we got our direct deposit from YouTube, yeah, I will say that in some way, shape, or form, whether it was by a small or large percentage, we were complicit in that. And it is something, you know, that of course, like, I do feel bad about that. I feel totally bad about that. And of course, that gets into another series of problems when it comes to what it is that COPPA and what it is that YouTube is doing right now, because even so, nobody under the age of 13 is even supposed to be watching YouTube. I mean, when I look at somebody like my sister, you know, who if she's trying to get my nephew to settle down, she will grab her iPad, type something into YouTube, and hand it off to him. That's really what all of this is coming down to right now. So you have child advocacy groups who are coming out and saying you are taking advantage of these children. It's like, dude, these kids weren't even supposed to be watching this in the first place.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that, you know, they were watching like freaking Meet the Jaegers or something like that. And of course, like, yeah, they are going to get ads that are targeted towards them. So you know, you are going to get, you know, an ad for Spiddly Dips or something like that. I just made that up. but of course, like, you're gonna get something like that if you're watching stuff that truly is intended for children, stuff that my nephew watches, stuff that my niece watches. And of course, like, I will get salty in the fact that, of course, these kids aren't watching, you know, my newest video on the Mezco 112 blade figure or something like that. So yeah, those, again, like, those are just my feelings on the situation there. It is shitty. Like, there's no getting around that. It is shitty. So we will see how all of that plays out.
One thing, I've been keeping up with the state of YouTube since, I don't know when, probably late 2015, and they always dig their own grave, but then they somehow find a way to make it not as deep. So there was, back, I think 2016 was when the quote-unquote adpocalypse happened, and that's when a bunch of advertisers were leaving from Google and whatnot because of the quote-unquote controversial content that was being made. But eventually, and honestly, it was bad for, I want to say, probably 2 months, but eventually companies came back to the website. And YouTube, ever since then, they've been pushing this family-friendly
this family-friendly format, yeah.
Yeah, and now that everyone's being family-friendly, trying to get more viewers onto the website, they've dug themselves another hole with children being attracted to the website more and more because of this family-friendly content. So, I'm sure it'll work itself out. YouTube...
Oh, yeah.
always does this, but this time it's a little bit more serious than before, but I'm sure there will be some kind of resolve where people don't necessarily have to stop making content, but
one would hope. One would definitely hope there, because with what it is that they are planning on doing, like it just doesn't make any sense. Like it really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, hopefully something between now and hopefully soon changes up a little bit. Because like I said, like, yeah, all of this is just super messy. To where it's like, yeah, of course, you know, they're here saying it's like, yeah, we want family friendly format. You know, we want family friendly content for everybody. And and now they don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want? What is it? What do you want now? So I don't know. I have no idea. It's frustrating. Like, it really is frustrating. I mean, really, you know, I enjoy making videos. And I think, you know, we all enjoy making videos, you know, at least most of us do. So yeah, you know, when it comes to the toy community, you know, you're going to find them somewhere. And of course, like most of us have been, like, you see D Amazing and Unparalleled Universe and even Robo to a certain extent, even like posting, like I think I saw all three of them post on Instagram today. So yeah, you know, whether it's different platforms that folks are on, the content is still going to come out there. It's just not going to be on YouTube, which really sucks. But whatever. What are you going to do?
all right, now with that out of the way, let's move on to something really awesome. The Mandalorian.
Black Friday. Oh.
Or Black Friday. Was there any kind of Black Friday big event that happened, Jacob?
Hot Topic finally had T-shirts for $12.
$12 T-shirts, yeah.
Yeah. I feel that was the best deal that I got all day at Black Friday shopping anywhere.
Did you get them in store or online?
In store.
Nice.
Yeah, I was hyped. I was excited. I got me some.
Good. I can never find anything in store there.
Really?
Yeah, like usually, like if I go like wanting like a T-shirt, they never have my size.
Oh, surprisingly, they had my size for all the shirts that I wanted, and I was just in complete excitement. I'm like, I'm buying these. I'm not putting these down. Somebody's gonna take them. I'm gonna regret it.
I mean,
But yeah,
that's
was
how
pretty
it is.
good.
With
Still.
But yeah, what was it? Started off the day at Walmart. You know how that goes. We had to sit through a long line just to buy some movies.
Did you have to use elbows on anyone?
No, I was stomping some babies though, so I'm not gonna lie about that. Nah, I got my movies. I bought Deadpool 2 finally for $5, so I couldn't complain about it. Then I went to the mall that's right by Chicago, but not in Chicago, so that was fun. Like I said, Hot Topic T-shirts. I went to Barnes & Nobles, and I got basically Commander Fox for free, and I bought Zamasu for 70 even, and I was excited.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a good day.
I really want that Commander Fox, but I hate Commander Fox.
I just bought it because I got the Gatling gun from John Walker Customs on Instagram.
So, what, you're gonna make a Commander Thorn?
I thought it was Fox that used the Gatling gun.
No, it was Thorn. You don't remember Thorn fighting off all those droids surrounding him? All Fox did was shoot fives.
I guess you're right. I forgot about that one. Yikes. I should have got another Fox then to make Thorn. Oh well.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Commander Thorn looks like.
Oh wow, those Gatling guns are really nice. I'm like looking at them now. Those are pretty.
Yeah, I got the Gatling gun, and then I got one of his baby Yodas.
Which one?
The the one where he's using the Force.
That's the best one.
That was
Man,
that was
I
the
want
one
one
that
of
was in
those.
stock, and I'm happy that I bought it.
Oh shit, he has a website. I had no idea.
Yeah, I wanted to get the Mandalorian helmet, and because man, his 3D print. I got the pistol, the Mandalorian pistol he made, and the quality of the printing is the best quality on any 3D printing I've ever seen.
And he paints them too, doesn't he? Does he paint them too?
Yeah, he does.
Well, yes, he does, but I got mine unpainted because I just love painting. It's really therapeutic for me.
Nice.
Target had a lot of good deals. The buy one get one half off, and now this week they're doing the buy two get one free, which is for all Disney products. That was right.
Oh right, all I think it was Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney products. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm definitely gonna take advantage of that, even though I'm broke as shit right now. I don't care. But no, I got myself some Sith Troopers because the new Star Wars TV spot that came out.
I just paid my pre-order for the SHF Rey and Kylo, and whew.
Dude, my wallet's been hurting ever since November hit. But we're not talking about that.
All right,
I'm actually really happy that the freaking the Wolverine Mayfex figure got pushed back. Because if it hadn't, I'd be freaking broke right now too.
Yeah, those Mayfex figures are really expensive. I really wanted to pre-order the Carnage, but I had to stop myself because July is currently already at $200 with the Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man figures.
Oh shit, that's right. Those are supposed to be hitting then too. Damn, man. But knowing Mayfex, they are going to be late.
Yeah. We're just a bunch of, well, in Jacob's case, almost adults. Overpaying for pieces of plastic that make us feel good.
Oh yeah,
agreed.
Momentarily. until we need another one.
Yeah, until we need another one. So, let's talk about something else that makes us feel very good. The Mandalorian, episode 4. This is now the third week in a row that we've been talking about The Mandalorian because it's been so great, in my opinion.
I love it. I really do.
Yeah, it's sweet. I concur.
So this episode we see the Mandalorian on the run with Baby Yoda, the most adorable thing in the universe. And he goes to, I can't remember what the name of the planet was. Starts with an S, but he goes to this planet that's pretty remote, not that many people on it, and what else happens?
At first, he meets Cara Dune.
Oh, there's so many things that happen.
Yeah, he meets. We get our first introduction to Cara Dune, and another badass female character in Star Wars. The fight they had, it was like they were equals.
So, although I will say that I think Mando he definitely got his ass.
Oh yeah, he definitely did. Like, she definitely beat him up. I want her to beat me up.
I actually kind of dug that it was an uneven fight.
Yeah, it was uneven because she got the upper hand at one point, but then they both pull out their blasters at the same time. And then cute little Baby Yoda sitting there sipping on his bone broth. Which, again, the humor in this it's not overly humorous, and it's not cringy humor like we see in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And
Particularly prequels.
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, yeah. And then the Mando gets these two guys that saw his ship land. They asked him to come protect the village from these pirates that terrorize the village. Most likely more than
before you go
once.
any further, I just want to say he gave that girl, the bartender lady, so much money to watch the kid,
Oh, yeah.
and she just let it walk out. I'm like, what?
I'm thinking Baby Yoda must use the Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have my eye on you. You have your eyes on no one.
So,
But yeah, it was a really good episode.
yeah, it was. It was a classic story of this badass character arriving at this small village that's terrorized by whatever, and he teaches them, him and Cara Dune teach them to fight and defend themselves, and it ends on a high note. Which I almost for a second thought again that Baby Yoda was killed.
Was toast.
Yeah, I heard that blaster shot and I was like, oh no! Because I knew, like, the internet was gonna be set on fire by that.
It's like Baby Yoda was going to be the next Ned Stark. You're going to kill your biggest star this soon into the series? What are you thinking, man? Yeah, like I of course, like I had half expected Cara Dune to shoot dude. I was like, we don't see her anywhere. She's definitely going to freaking shoot. And of course, like, and there is that predictable nature that is in this show. But for me, it's incredibly forgivable because we've never seen these tropes in a galaxy far, far away.
We have, technically, but not a lot of people have seen the Clone Wars.
Or read the comics.
That is true. And you know what? I'm gonna admit something. I've never seen the Clone Wars either. Well,
I know you say your time is valuable. But and there are a lot of episodes of the Clone Wars, and a few of them are bad, but once you get into like there's even good ones in season 1, but like the end of season 2, beginning of season 3 is where it picks up. And the best part about the Clone Wars is you can just start watching anywhere. Well, unless it's in the middle of a story arc. But you can pretty much start watching at the beginning of any story arc and understand everything that's happening.
Right on.
And that's one of the things I love about Clone Wars. But then again,
me and Adam have an official Lost episode where we talk maybe an hour and a half about the Clone Wars, and it just never found it.
We gush so much about how amazing the Clone Wars is, and then the recording is just disappeared into the aether. It's just gone, very sadly. But we'll get another chance to talk about it when season 7 comes out.
Oh yeah,
in February.
Wait, there's more?
Yeah.
Yes.
After being canceled for, what is it? 5 years? 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. They're making their return with season 7, and I couldn't be more happy. And I'm like ecstatic for Star Wars right now. Ever since, I want to say D23 earlier this year is when I was like, I went full Star Wars mode. It's to the point where my Instagram is just all Star Wars. Well, mostly
All my
Star Wars
purchases
right
have been Star Wars.
now. Yeah, the Star Wars fever it's going around. But yeah, the Mandalorian.
Is it bad that I'm actually more stoked for Mandalorian than I am for the Rise of Skywalker?
No, it's not, because I was way more excited for the Mandalorian than the Rise of Skywalker. Which I am excited for the Rise of Skywalker because I'm a massive Star Wars nerd and will consume any Star Wars media. But it's most likely a combination of The Last Jedi not being great, and also just like the toxicity of the Star Wars fan base currently. Well, not currently anymore because of Baby Yoda, but before The Mandalorian, it was just so bad.
But yeah, I really did enjoy this week's episode, and I really enjoyed last week's episode as well. I was telling Adam, seeing that y'all were going to be talking about Mandalorian, I hadn't watched the last 2 episodes, so went ahead and had dinner and just binged them like right in between the the podcast here. But yeah, like just watching both of them back to back, it was a nice just hour of compact entertainment. There was nothing extraneous. In no way, shape, or form did I think anything was dragging at all. Like, I had an incredibly good time just watching this. And I think that actually goes for me just with TV in general right now. To where, like, for something just to catch my attention, for something to actually to let me, like, leave my phone alone and not look at it for the span of half an hour.
That's how you know something is good and has you completely locked in. I'm like that with The Watchmen on HBO right now.
I need to check that out, man.
I remember you messaged me a while ago that you wanted to check it out. But whenever another episode comes out tomorrow, but whenever there is an episode premiering, my phone is off because my full attention is on that episode. And I genuinely think that the Watchmen HBO series is the best show on television right now. Because it's just
that's
the
bold
writing.
Statement, yeah.
No, I'm 100% behind that statement. It is the best show currently running on television. And
right on.
That's coming from someone that loved The Walking Dead and used to say that was the best show on television, and then hated it, and now I'm enjoying it more and more again. So
I left that show.
Yeah, I left somewhere in, I can't even remember what season. I think season 7.
I finished after Carl got killed off.
That's where it really died for me. But now it's pretty decent. They're not exactly following the comics
anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. It's like it took them so long to get to the Whisperers, and that kind of like upset me a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of people really enjoy the Whispers. I don't really like Alpha too much, but considering what happens in the comic, we won't have to worry about Alpha for too long. Spoiler alert. But yeah, The Walking Dead isn't amazing, but it's not as good as the HBO Watchmen. So if you haven't watched that,
I actually never gotten Walking Dead myself. I think I am saving myself a headache on that one.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely are. Because I got into it when it first... no, not when it first started. I think it was like midway through season 2, and I really
that's when I got into it.
I really, really, really loved the first season, because it was just this nice, short 6-episode season that was written pretty well, and all the acting was so solid. And then season 2 was just a massive, just a massive trash fire.
Just a big uh-oh.
Yeah, it was bad, and then good, and then even worse. But then season 3, it started to pick up, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really good. And then it died for me after season 7 or whenever Carl died. But now it's okay.
Yeah.
But The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian's better than The Walking Dead.
But yeah, I am looking forward to what it is that they are going to be bringing with the rest of the season. I mean, granted, even though we are looking at tried and true tropes here, the outlaw coming into a small town teaching people how to fight, just like all sorts of stuff like that, Even though we've seen it, the way that Jon Favreau and of course his team of directors that he has along with him, the way that they're able just to serve it up to you, at least for me, like it really is an enjoyable experience, to the point to where it's like you don't even think about the predictability of things. You don't think about the tropes anymore. You just want to see how the story ends, or you just want to see how the story continues.
Like, the most surprising thing that's happened in The Mandalorian so far for me is the reveal of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And
Mine was the reveal of Life Day.
Yeah, Life Day's canon now. But the reveal of Baby Yoda, that was the only thing that was like completely shocking. And that was only the first episode. And it's I figured that it was gonna have some sort of guy, an outlaw trying to redeem himself or whatever before the show came out, and the best way to do that is with him taking care of a kid. So
taking care of a kid, yeah.
even there was predictability, but I'm so glad that it was they chose to do Baby Yoda because not only is he absolutely adorable, but we don't know anything about Yoda's species.
Yeah.
My thing is, I think it's a weird coincidence on how Mezco releases their Lone Roach figure with the little larva that it comes with, and we have this Mandalorian with a Baby Yoda. I just put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, that's crazy.
There's a conspiracy.
Yeah, Mezco made the Mandalorian.
But yeah, the Mandalorian's solid, and if you're a Star Wars fan and you're not checking it out, you're doing yourself a disfavor, because it is really enjoyable. Even predictability and all. It's just it's such a good watch.
Agreed.
Oh, I concur. Yeah. I know that I will say this though, my girlfriend hates it.
My mom hates it.
I mean, and this was the reason why. She said, well, because why should I care about the Mandalorian? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, we don't know anything about this guy. There's absolutely no character development. And I was like, well, I think that's kind of the point. I mean, seeing that he is this mysterious guy, you don't know whether or not you want to be on his side. You don't know if he's a good guy. You don't know if he's a bad guy. You just kind of just go along with the story and you see where it takes you. Kind of like the first Star Wars.
Like
we don't really know anything about these people at all. It's like I see this guy with a helmet. I guess he must be bad.
Yeah, that's another thing. All of the good characters they don't wear helmets, but all of the bad characters wear helmets in Star Wars. So there's this morally ambiguous character that we don't know if he's good or bad, and so that's what makes it intriguing, at least for me.
I mean, oh, definitely. I mean, because with the way that they present the Mandalorian, to where, and this is something, of course, that I learned in the second episode, to where the Mandalorian isn't this freaking end all be all badass. He's not. He's an everyman. Yeah. I mean, the dude got his freaking ship stripped by a gang of Jawas, for crying out loud. You know, so and it's great because, like, you see, like, this guy who has, you know, even if he's in a galaxy far, far away, he has his problems.
He has the same problems as people on Earth.
Yeah,
and it makes it so much more relatable to this character who's wearing a helmet. You can't see his face at all, and that alone is a feat. That's incredible.
Don't even freaking get me started on that, dude. To where the way that Pedro Pascal is able to emote through a mask. Do you all have any idea how hard that is?
To do that, and he does it so well. It's just like of
course, like the best example of that you see in episode 3, I think it was, to where he makes the decision to go back for Baby Yoda, where he's in his ship, he's turning all the switches and dials on, he's about to take off, and you see him just staring into that one little pinpoint. I don't know, you know, and I don't know, like, what focal point it is that he's actually looking at inside the helmet, but from what it is that we see from the outside, we see him thinking. And when you have an actor who has, like, this literal shield over their face and still being able to have that read, that is a feat unto itself right there. And this is why it's like, I won't necessarily take offense to it, but for someone to say the Mandalorian's bad, it's like, dude, do you have any idea?
There were people saying the Mandalorian is gonna be bad before the show even came out, because there's the people that just hate blindly on Star Wars because they hate the sequel trilogy so far. Like, there was this one guy I saw on YouTube that was just being a complete douche. That was like, I don't want the First Order to be explored in this show. I wanted it to be only centered around the original trilogy and only in that time period. And they shouldn't have the First Order ruining this show. But it's like, how else are you supposed to get this information of the origins of the First Order, since we already have the first movie in this sequel trilogy that doesn't really explain it?
Yeah. Basically, it's like this is where I get into the notion of, and of course this is going to sound incredibly elitist, is who is a fan and who is not a fan. And now for me, like, a true fan is just a fan of any franchise. Basically, a true fan does not want to see something fail. You know, like, and of course, like, I'm not talking about blindly supporting anything either, but to say that something is going to suck even before you see it. You know, like what? Like I have my friends on my Slack up my ass right now for Birds of Prey. You know, just judging from what it is that they've seen from the trailer, they have come to the conclusion that it's awful. And I'm like, guys, we haven't even seen it yet. So, well, you know, freaking Black Mask doesn't look like Black Mask. He looks like Ewan McGregor right now. Well, maybe, just maybe, he will carve the Black Mask out of his father's coffin sooner or later in the movie. They're just not showing it in the trailer. Just calm down, guys. It's gonna be it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, and I hate it, and I hate you. Come on, y'all. Can we just not jump to any type of hasty generalizations right now, and just try and support something, watch it for ourselves, and then make our own decisions as to whether or not we think it sucks or not. Now, to me, it's like that is the sign of a true fan, fanatic, as it were, right there, to where you are going to try and support something as much as you can. I mean, hell, dude, it's like I remember like back in the freaking day, people didn't want Heath Ledger to play the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And now
it's one of the most iconic roles of all time, arguably.
Oh, yeah? So, yeah, I mean, that's just my tangent on folks hating on Star Wars before something even comes out, because the freaking Last Jedi left a bad taste in their mouth. And truly, like, I like that movie.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy that movie. It's not a perfect Star Wars movie, but I enjoy it.
No. I mean, even for me, like, I was in high school at the time when the prequels came out, and I had to force myself to say that I like these things, like, that I like. And I was in denial for about a good year to 2 years or so with The Phantom Menace, in thinking that it was good. And of course, like, I watch Phantom Menace now. I watch Attack of the Clones. I even watch portions of Revenge of the Sith. And I'm like, man, it's like, I will confidently say that I tried. You know, I tried with these movies. Like, I really did try to like these things. And of course, like, George Lucas and the decisions that he made with a good portion of the storyline, with a good portion of the casting, with just a good portion of the directions that he decided to go in. It was just so hard to get on that train. It really was, when all was said and done. But I will say that I can say that I didn't talk shit before the movies even came out. I was like, look, I'm expecting, I'm hoping for something good. I'm hoping that this is going to be good. I'm hoping that I'm going to have a good time watching this movie.
Like, I mentioned that I don't love Solo, but I still love Star Wars, and I will still support the Star Wars franchise because I love Star Wars so much, and because I want to see it succeed. And I went into Solo hopeful, and I think my expectations were a little bit too high, and that's why I ended up not liking it too much originally. But I still went and supported it. Meanwhile, everyone that call themselves true Star Wars fans were boycotting the movie, and now everyone's like, oh, Solo was pretty good, actually.
You see, I'm kind of like, but of course, like, I'm one to talk on that because, like, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just me. It's like, to where it's like, I'm just like, I'm so torn on that. Like, I really am torn on that.
The thing is, I didn't want a Han Solo movie. I think Han Solo at his best is in A New Hope, playing off of Princess Leia's sassiness and Luke's vulnerability as someone that's just been introduced to this larger world. And Han Solo, he's not the best character to make an entire, I want to say, series of movies after, because in Solo, it's kind of a spoiler alert, but if you haven't watched it now, it's sort of, you're not going to watch it. Spoiler alert, he, at the very end, Darth Maul is, the head of, what's it called? I can't even remember.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. He's the head of Crimson Dawn, and They leave it on sort of a cliffhanger with that, and everyone assumed that it was going to be made into a series of Han Solo movies.
Now I think it's going to be. There was rumors and talks of it like getting a trilogy of Han Solo, but I think it's going to be a series if they take it any further, or if at least they're going to like put him in Kenobi or something.
I would love
that'd actually be pretty sweet.
Because at the end of the movie, he is in talks with Chewbacca to head to Kenobi, or to head to Tatooine, where Kenobi stays for his whole life.
And honestly, I would absolutely love to see Obi-Wan and Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan and Ray Park as Darth Maul fight in live action one last time. But the problem is they blew their load way too early by having Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight and
in
Obi-Wan
Rebels.
win in Rebels, which I don't know. I definitely think they blew their load way too early there.
Well, J.J. Abrams said in a recent interview that he was upset that Maul got killed off the way he did. And so, like, people are speculating that he's going to bring back either Maul or just, like, make him show up in Rise of Skywalker. So there's not, like, hope lost or anything like that.
I don't know. I feel like that... Well, yeah, Emperor Palpatine's coming back, but he was one of the strongest Sith ever.
Well, cloning is a thing.
Well, yeah, cloning is a thing, but I don't think Darth Maul would clone himself, because he's not like that. His character, at least from what we've seen from the Clone Wars and the little bit we've seen in Rebels, that's not in his character, to clone himself. I do think that if there was some way... The problem is... we don't really know how Darth Maul died. We just see Obi-Wan slash down. So we don't know if there's a giant gash in his chest or whatever. Because, I mean, he was cut in half. So he could survive that, but not survive just a little... because Rebels is a lot less
graphic,
mature than... the Clone Wars, where if we got Darth Maul's death in the Clone Wars, we would have seen how exactly he died.
But although, now correct me if I'm wrong, seeing that I am up on my Star Wars cinema shit, Solo aside, but not up on my tunage, hasn't it been said that when it comes to the cinematic universe, as per Star Wars, that the cartoons and extended universe are not canon?
No. The cartoons are canon, but the expanded universe isn't. That's currently Legends. They do have the new books that are canon.
The only cartoon that's not canon is the Clone Wars between episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, that...
Gotcha.
But yeah, everything else is canon. And that's one of the things that's great about the Clone Wars, is that it's all canon. So no one can be like, well, that's not how I see things, so it's not how it really went. But Clone Wars, we've gone on for almost 2.5 hours about just everything. But to add on to more to what we've been saying for the past 2 hours, Clone Wars is just... it improves the prequel trilogy. And I'm pretty sure anyone that likes the Clone Wars will agree that, well, it improves Revenge of the Sith, which I like that movie alone, but with the context of the Clone Wars, it makes it even better.
Right on.
So with that, we're gonna cut it off here, or else we'd be talking forever. I've really enjoyed talking with you, Jay,
I really did also.
This
Well, thanks for
episode
having
was
me, guys. I
probably
really
the best
appreciate
one so
that.
far.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun actually. This, if I can speak in perfect candor here, this is my first podcast when it comes to basically just stuff in the toy community / Star Wars / comic / whatever it is you want to call it. Like, I've done stuff for work before, but I've never done stuff for fun like this. So thank you. This is actually the first time that I've been invited to be on any podcast. So this is very cool.
You are completely welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to come on here. So you can find me on Instagram at urban_Spidey. You can also catch me on the Raw Live and Unedited weekly show. Every Saturday is usually when it goes up.
Adam, didn't you just make a Twitter today?
Oh yeah, I did just make a Twitter today. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Urban Spidey, all one word. Urban Spidey was already taken, so. So Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Deadpool_ACBA or Twitter at Deadpool7129 capital A. And yeah.
And our extremely special guest, Jay, where can we find you? For those that don't know.
You can find me on Instagram at just Jay Hernandez, and you can also find me on YouTube by just typing in Jay Hernandez. And yeah, all my stuff should come up there.
With that, thank you for listening.
And them dollars made my spidey sense a ring, and that booty on that thotty made me spring. Then I took her to my pad, made her sing. First she asked me for a thing, now she cling. And she's bossy, but she threw it. Oh, you hella saucy, did you stew it? Wonder what it cost me. I threw some shoes in, ice be on my body, I'm never bruising. Hey, yeah, 4 flights, 1 month. Bitch, I'm from the future, catch this baby going beast mode. She hit me with the nudie, weapon nail class, find me triple stepping on my scooty. Suck your head, man, cause you know your mommy is my tutor. I'm a tall man, why she tryna get me tall, man? Rubber band, man, can you toss it up? Let the rain, man, rain dance, take another L with a goofy thought, no chance. Love getting money, call it romance. Hey, sassy boys, are you hungry? I see you tryna buy my sound, but it sounded kinda funky. And them dollars made my spidey sense a ring. And that booty on that thotty made me spring. Then I took her to my pad, made her sing. First she asked me for a thing, now she cling. And she's bossy, but she threw it. Oh, you hella saucy, did you stew it? Wonder what it cost me. I threw some shoes in, ice be on my body, I'm never bruising. Hey, let me break it down. I got a bad bitch tryna jump my bones in a booty round. Hey, you see my whips on fleek, yeah, pink flames, pink Fiat, baby is a treat. Yeah, of course I'm eating all my cells cause they stuff with greens. Yeah, this baby's got the German she really made me scream. So I'ma just tour the world and grab a bag, I'm really keen. Yeah, I'm really on that goofy shit, but ain't no Charlie Sheen. Hey, sassy boys, are you hungry? I see you tryna buy my sound, but it sounded kinda funky. And them dollars made my spidey sense a ring. And that booty on that thotty made me spring. Then I took her to my pad, made her sing. First she asked me for a thing, now she cling. And she's bossy, but she threw it. Oh, you hella saucy, did you stew it? Wonder what it cost me. I threw some shoes in, ice be on my body, I'm never bruising. Hey.